When it comes to today's SONA, there's going to be great anticipation to see what even the different caucuses are planning to do in response to these calls from the EFF and the likes that they're going to disrupt the president when he finally speaks. But on the other side, on the ground, sentiments is that the president should do a little less of the making of promises and finally get to the action. Govan Whittles is part of our team stationed at the Cape Town train station to continue canvassing some of those sentiments. And Govan, I wonder, from the time you've been able to spend there, whether you've been able to capture some of these sentiments, these feelings, as we look to 7 p.m. tonight.
Differing views emerging here from ordinary South Africans. Thank you for coming to us once again. Well, we've wanted to do this from the start, get the view of ordinary South Africans. Of course, there's a lot of expectations. The lights are out for most people, and we'll just get their views on what they want the president to say, what they're hoping for in the State of the Nation address. 3 young men joining me here, commuters who we've managed to stop and they've agreed to speak to us just briefly. So let's begin with you. Thank you so much for your time. Just tell me what you're expecting from the president. What are your priorities?
Basically, man, I think the president should address infrastructural development, looking into dams and reservoirs for water retention, because South Africa is losing a lot of water because of there's no retention systems that are available for all the rain that we get. So I wish that the president were to address that in terms of how to develop dams in places, especially for the Karoo. So there's a lot of water shortages in the Karoo, and how to supply water from the main dams, the Harib Dam, to sustain the people living in the Karoo.
That seems like a very specific interest. Is that an area that you specialize in or something that you're interested in?
No, I am from the Karoo. So I understand and I know that there's a lot of shortage. I'm actually from Port West. So there's a lot of shortage of water, even though around the Karoo there's always rain, but there's no retention systems to keep the water.
Right now, how are your family back in the Karoo getting water?
There is a dam, but it's always low. It's probably between 15 and 20% at all times. So, and considering the heat that is in the central Karoo, obviously 20% won't sustain them very long.
Thank you. I didn't get your name, sir.
Kokom Kalal.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mkala. We appreciate your comments. 2 young men here who've also agreed to speak to us, give us, I suppose, a more youthful view. Gentlemen, what are you hoping to hear from the president?
Transportation, sir. I woke up 6:30 today just to come to work. And the trains, they promised us new trains. Yes, we're seeing the trains, but the trains are still delayed 2 hours. I think it was last week, Thursday, they said there was no trains. We're waiting for plus 2 hours at the station, and then no improvement about trains. So I hope that the president can look at the transport system, because our taxi prices has increased also gradually.
How long does it take you to get to work?
It takes me plus 2 to 3 hours to get to work. So like today I left at 6:30 and I only arrived here 8 o'clock in the morning. So
is that just because of delays or the distance?
Because of delays. That is because of delays also. Yes, it is because of delays.
Thank you. Your name, sir?
Jonathan.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. Sir, can I just get your name? Tell me what you expect.
Firstly, my name is Benny, and today I'm just expecting the president to explain to us more about the current load shedding. You know, it's been disturbing us a lot, and in my case, you know, for me to do a lot of stuff in the morning or even in the evening, it's quite difficult. So I just want the president to explain to us how we're going to move forward. Is it still going to continue like this, or is he planning something to fix? You know, but other than that, yeah.
Thank you, Benny. That is the big expectation. One more person to speak to us here. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time, sir. You just agreed to come in. So what are you expecting from the president, or what's important to you right now?
Yeah, important. There's a lot of issues to be done, and I hope the president comes to fulfill everyone's promise. But okay, you must know that God is also involved. Where God is involved, all things are possible. And God is great, and God is here to come and to help the people. It's not about men, it's about God. Yeah, God will apply all their needs and supply us what they need. But today is an important day, and God respect government very huge.
Thank you so much. All right, let's bring in Mr. Michael Curran. He's the acting spokesperson for the cabinet. He's been out here doing a blitz. Mr. Curran, your job has been to try and get people to watch the State of the Nation address, but also, I suppose, be ready to engage with the content more. Just tell us how it's gone doing this blitz this morning.
Govan, morning to you, and it's good to see you guys again, and thanks for joining in this newsroom. Look, obviously, yes, today is a very important day. The State of the Nation address sets a tone for our country's vision for a year. I must tell you, I want to share an anecdote, because I hear Jonathan there was talking about delays on the trains and that. We were here with the group CEO of PRASA and the chair of the board, Mr. Ramatlakane. You know, 4 years ago, Govan, when we were here, we had such animosity as we were giving pamphleteering to the public around, to watch SONA tonight, etc. Today, we see a very different audience. You know, there's been enormous, obviously on any day there might be operational challenges or whatever, but there's such a different tone and a mood that I've picked up among the people we interacted with today. Because, there's 100 new trains here, there's blue trains, and when we were here a few years ago, some of the lines weren't even working. I was speaking to the gentleman who runs all the lines, and he was saying, we actually are now seeing a very different attitude from the public, that they can see that there's safety on the trains, that there's safety officers. Obviously, there'll never always be enough, and they are making a case that they do need more security. But it's a very different mood, Govan. And I personally, as a communicator, I picked up that whereas in those periods there'd been a very unhappy experience, this whole development of PRASA here with the whole new trains, and that it's part of what the President speaks about changing the landscape of our economic growth. We can't have economic growth without good trains. And I must say, I was very, very impressed to see the kinds of works. It's a combination of fixing the infrastructure, getting the lines to run again. It's a combination of employing people with skills. It's a combination of security. All of the kinds of things that our President always speaks about as, those things that change a nation from one of being hopeful to one of not being as hopeful.
Thank you so much, Mr. Michael Curran. He's the acting spokesperson for Cabinet. Joining us here at the Cape Town station, we do understand that theft and vandalism is also down by about 70% just on some of the lines that have been taken over by the security here at PRASA. Later on, we'll be speaking to an independent commentator on the railway system, Mr. Lorenzo Davids. He's due to have a discussion with some PRASA executives. We'll also speak to one of the security personnel, the person who runs the security and has been responsible for restoring much of the lines, not only here in Cape Town, but different parts of the country. The President has acknowledged that they've opened a number of new lines across the country. He's expected to address it directly when he delivers his State of the Nation address, but we'll bring you more commentary, not only about the state of the rail station, but just the views of ordinary South Africans and what they're expecting from tonight's speech. For now, it's back to you.
A cross-section of those sentiments from ordinary South Africans. Govan Whittles live to us there from the Cape Town train station. Thanks very much indeed.